Marina Bay at night is basically Singapore's open-air stage. Everything is lit, walkable, and designed for evening wandering. Here are the best things you can do in and around the area once the sun goes down. Number 1. Visit the Merlion and Waterfront Promenade. As night falls over Singapore, one of the most iconic waterfront stops along Marina Bay begins to glow with quiet energy, Merlion Park. Set along the edge of the bay, this is where the city's famous half-lion, half-fish statue stands proudly facing the open water. At night, the illuminated figure becomes even more striking, with the gentle flow of water lit softly against the dark skyline. Behind it, the view opens up to one of the most recognizable cityscapes in the world, the shimmering towers of Marina Bay Sands rising in perfect symmetry across the bay. The reflections on the water create a layered scene of light, movement, and architecture. Walking through Merlion Park at night feels calmer than the daytime rush. The crowds are still present, but the atmosphere slows down. People gather along the promenade, taking photos, leaning on railings, or simply watching the skyline flicker across the water. This is one of the best spots for long-exposure photography, where passing boats leave soft trails of light and the city appears almost painted onto the surface of the bay. But beyond the photos, it's the feeling that stands out. A quiet pause in the middle of a vibrant city, a place where history, symbolism, and modern architecture meet in one frame. And as you look across the water, the entire Marina Bay district feels close enough to touch, yet distant enough to feel like a postcard brought to life. Number 2. Esplanade, Theaters by the Bay. The Esplanade, Theaters on the Bay offers one of the most atmospheric ways to experience Singapore's cultural side. When evening settles over the Singapore, one of the most atmospheric ways to experience its cultural side is at the Esplanade, Theaters on the Bay. Set along the waterfront, Esplanade, Theaters on the Bay is instantly recognizable for its unique dome-like architecture, often compared to a durian because of its spiky exterior. At night, those spires glow softly, giving the entire building a futuristic yet inviting presence along Marina Bay. Inside and around the complex, the atmosphere is calm but alive. You might hear live music drifting from outdoor stages, see small performances in open plazas, or simply find people sitting by the bay enjoying the breeze and skyline views. It's one of the few places around Marina Bay where entertainment feels spontaneous and relaxed rather than scheduled or formal. As you walk along the promenade outside, the views open up toward the illuminated skyline of Marina Bay Sands across the water. The reflections shimmer gently on the surface, while nearby bridges and walkways connect the entire Marina Bay circuit into one continuous night experience. What makes Esplanade special is its balance. It's not just a theater complex, but also a public space where culture, music, and everyday city life blend together naturally. The Esplanade is generally open until around 11 p.m., while certain outdoor areas and waterfront spaces remain accessible even later, depending on events and performances. And as the night deepens, the area slowly quiets down, leaving behind glowing architecture, soft music in the air, and one of the most peaceful corners of Marina Bay after dark. Number 3. Walk the Helix Bridge, night skyline views. Another striking way to experience the skyline is by walking across the Helix Bridge. Linking the Marina Center to Marina Bay Sands, this pedestrian bridge is inspired by the structure of DNA, a double helix design that twists elegantly across the water. At night, it transforms into a glowing ribbon of light, reflecting softly on the bay below. There are no scheduled showtimes here, but the best time to visit is between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m., when the entire Marina Bay area is fully illuminated and the atmosphere feels most alive. This is also when the reflections on the water are at their most dramatic, and the skyline becomes a seamless mix of architecture and light. As you begin your walk, the perspective keeps changing. On one side, Marina Bay Sands rises like a futuristic landmark against the night sky. On the other, the Singapore Flyer turns slowly in the distance, glowing like a ring of light hovering above the city. Helix Bridge is more than just a crossing point. It is a viewing deck suspended above the water, where every step reveals a new angle of the city's nightscape. And as you reach the center, the full sweep of Marina Bay opens up around you. Reflections, movement, and light, blending into a single cinematic moment that defines Singapore after dark. Number 4. Ride the Singapore Flyer at night. Take in the city from above on the Singapore Flyer. Rising high above the waterfront, Singapore Flyer offers a slow, sweeping rotation that reveals the entire Marina Bay district in motion. From the ground, it looks like a glowing wheel suspended in the sky. From inside, it becomes a moving observation deck over one of Asia's most iconic skylines. As your capsule begins its ascent, the city gradually unfolds beneath you. The lights of Marina Bay grow smaller, the water turns into a mirror of reflections, and the skyline stretches further than you expect. At the top, the view feels almost suspended in time, with Marina Bay Sands on one side, the Singapore Strait faintly visible in the distance, and the city's illuminated roads tracing lines of light below. This experience is especially magical after sunset, when the entire bay transforms into a sea of gold and blue reflections. The Singapore Flyer is typically open from 10 a.m. until around 10 p.m., giving visitors plenty of time to enjoy both daytime views and the full night skyline experience. The final rotations usually offer the most dramatic visuals, as the city is fully lit and the waterfront glows in every direction. And as the capsule gently descends, the city slowly returns to scale. But the memory of that panoramic night view stays with you long after you step back onto the ground. Number 5. Gardens by the Bay Night Experience. Just a short walk from the waterfront, another world begins to glow, where nature and technology merge into something almost surreal. Welcome to Gardens by the Bay, one of Singapore's most iconic nighttime experiences. At the heart of it all stands the Super Tree Grove, towering vertical gardens that rise like futuristic trees into the sky. By day, they're impressive, but at night they become something entirely different, illuminated sculptures that feel alive against the dark. Each evening, the super trees come together for the Garden Rhapsody Light Show, usually held at 7:45 p.m. and 8:45 p.m. Soft music begins to play, and the entire grove slowly transforms. Lights ripple across the structures, shifting colors in sync with the soundtrack, as if the trees themselves are breathing with the city. Visitors gather on the ground, lying back on the lawn or standing among the walkways, fully immersed in the atmosphere. Nearby, the cooled conservatories like the Cloud Forest add another layer to the experience, with misty interiors and dramatic indoor landscapes that often extend into the evening hours. What makes this place unforgettable is the contrast: futuristic skyline behind you and glowing nature in front of you. And as the music fades and the lights soften, the super trees slowly return to stillness, standing quietly over the bay, like guardians of the night. Number 6. Explore the shops at Marina Bay Sands. One of the most vibrant and immersive places to experience the city's energy is the shops at Marina Bay Sands. Set within Marina Bay Sands, this waterfront mall is far more than a shopping destination. It is a blend of luxury retail, architecture, dining, and atmosphere, all unfolding beside the calm waters of the bay. As you step inside the shops at Marina Bay Sands, the mood shifts immediately. Soft lighting reflects off polished floors, and an indoor canal runs quietly through the mall, where traditional sampan boats glide slowly past boutique storefronts. It feels almost surreal, like a mix of Venice and a futuristic cityscape. But the experience doesn't end indoors. Step outside and you're greeted again by the glowing skyline of Marina Bay. Restaurants line the waterfront, offering open-air dining with views of the city's illuminated towers and passing light reflections on the water. This is also one of the best places to simply pause during a night walk around the bay, whether you're enjoying a quiet cafe, exploring luxury brands, or just watching the city move around you. The shops is typically open until 10 p.m. on most days, making it ideal for an evening visit after the Spectra show or a walk along the waterfront. And as the night deepens, the entire area slowly transitions into a calmer rhythm, where lights shimmer, footsteps slow down, and Marina Bay continues to glow quietly into the late evening. Number 7. Watch the Spectra Light and Water Show. As night falls over Marina Bay, one of Singapore's most captivating waterfront experiences begins to draw the crowd in: the Spectra Light and Water Show. Set directly in front of Marina Bay Sands, the bay slowly transforms into an open-air theater. The skyline glows brighter, the water grows still, and people begin gathering along the promenade, all waiting for the same moment. Spectra runs every evening, with showtimes typically at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. On Fridays and Saturdays, there is usually an additional late show at 10 p.m., giving visitors more chances to catch the performance against the night sky. As the lights dim, the experience begins. Music rises gently, followed by bursts of fountains that leap from the water in perfect synchronization. Beams of color cut across the bay, and mist screens form above the surface, turning water into a moving display of light and motion. The show tells a visual story of Singapore's journey from its early days as a trading port to a modern global city, expressed through water, projection, and sound. For a few minutes, everything around the bay fades into the background. The city feels still, yet alive. And when the final sequence ends, the lights soften, the fountains settle, and Marina Bay returns to calm. Until the next show begins again. Number 8. Just walk the full bay loop. Experience Marina Bay not as a collection of separate attractions, but as a continuous 3.5-kilometer journey through one of the world's most spectacular waterfront districts. Starting near Marina Bay Sands, head south along the waterfront toward Gardens by the Bay. As the skyline glitters behind you, the super trees rise ahead like a futuristic forest, their illuminated structures creating one of Singapore's most magical nighttime scenes. Continuing clockwise around the bay, the route curves toward the financial district, where towering skyscrapers line the waterfront. Their lights reflect across the water, transforming the bay into a shimmering mirror of the city. Along the way, a short detour can take you to Lau Pa Sat, one of Singapore's most famous hawker centers. Here, the aroma of grilled satay and local specialties provides a delicious contrast to the modern skyline surrounding it. Following the promenade further, you'll arrive at Merlion Park. Singapore's iconic half-lion, half-fish symbol stands proudly at the water's edge, with Marina Bay Sands visible across the bay in the distance. The walk then continues past the Esplanade. Theaters on the bay, whose distinctive spiky domes, often compared to the shape of a durian fruit, glow softly against the night sky. Nearby, the Singapore Flyer slowly turns above the waterfront, offering panoramic views of the illuminated city. The final highlight is the Helix Bridge. Inspired by the structure of DNA, its graceful spirals are beautifully lit after dark and provide some of the best views anywhere around Marina Bay. Crossing the bridge brings you back to Marina Bay Sands, completing a full circle around the bay. Along the way, you've experienced gardens, architecture, culture, food, and some of the most stunning skyline views in Asia, all connected by a single continuous waterfront walk. What makes the Marina Bay Loop so special is that every turn reveals a new perspective, making the journey itself just as memorable as the destinations along the way. Number 9. Night River Cruise, Bay Cruise. As night falls over Singapore, one of the most relaxing and scenic ways to experience Marina Bay is from the water itself, aboard a river cruise. Stepping onto the boat, you leave behind the busy waterfront and begin a gentle journey through the heart of the city. As the vessel glides across the water, the skyline comes alive around you. Towering above the bay is Marina Bay Sands, its illuminated silhouette reflecting beautifully on the calm surface below. Nearby, the lotus-inspired Art Science Museum and the iconic Merlion complete one of Singapore's most recognizable waterfront scenes. As the cruise continues around Marina Bay, you'll enjoy views of the Esplanade, whose distinctive domes glow against the night sky before the boat enters the historic Singapore River. The atmosphere gradually changes as modern skyscrapers give way to restored shophouses and lively riverside districts. Soon, you'll pass through Boat Quay, Clark Quay, and Robertson Quay, where restaurants, bars, and heritage buildings line both sides of the river. Their colorful lights ripple across the water, creating a completely different mood from the grand skyline of Marina Bay. The cruise also passes beneath several historic bridges, each offering a unique perspective of Singapore's blend of old and new. From the water, familiar landmarks take on a different character, with reflections and city lights combining to create a scene that feels almost magical. Unlike exploring on foot, a river cruise allows you to simply sit back and take it all in. The gentle movement of the boat, the cool evening breeze, and the ever-changing scenery combine to create a uniquely peaceful experience in the middle of a bustling metropolis. Most Singapore river cruises operate from late morning until around 10 p.m., with some services extending to 10:30 p.m. or 11 p.m., depending on the operator and day of the week. Evening departures are especially popular, offering the best views of both the illuminated Marina Bay skyline and the vibrant quays along the river. And, as your cruise returns to Marina Bay, the city lights continue to sparkle across the water, a fitting finale to one of Singapore's most unforgettable nighttime experiences. Number 10. Lau Pa Sat. Marina Bay night food stop, 24 hours. As night settles over Marina Bay, the lights begin to reflect across the water, and the city slowly shifts from sightseeing to something just as important: food. Just a short walk from the central business district and Marina Bay area is one of Singapore's most iconic food landmarks, Lau Pa Sat. At first glance, it stands out with its distinctive Victorian-style iron architecture glowing warmly under the nightlights. But as you get closer, the real atmosphere begins to build. The sound of sizzling grills, the aroma of sauté smoke drifting through the air, and the constant energy of a place that never really sleeps. As evening turns into late night, the famous sauté street comes alive just outside the market. Rows of stalls line the road, grilling skewers over open flames, while diners sit at long tables under the open sky. It feels lively, casual, and deeply local, a contrast to the polished skyline just minutes away. Inside, you'll find hawker stalls serving everything from noodle dishes to seafood, offering a true taste of Singapore's everyday food culture in one place. What makes this spot even more special is its timing. Lau Pa Sat is open 24 hours a day, making it one of the most reliable late-night food stops in the Marina Bay area. And as you leave, the scent of grilled sauté lingers in the air, blending with the glow of nearby skyscrapers. A reminder that in Singapore, the night is never really over. Number 11. Rooftop bars and skyline dining. One of the most memorable ways to experience Singapore's skyline is from above, as Marina Bay comes alive after dark. While the waterfront offers spectacular views, seeing the city from a rooftop bar or restaurant reveals an entirely different perspective. High above the streets, the lights of Marina Bay stretch out in every direction, transforming the city into a dazzling tapestry of reflections and color. From rooftop venues around Marina Bay, you can take in sweeping views of the bay, the illuminated skyscrapers of the financial district, and the iconic silhouette of Marina Bay sands. Below, boats glide across the water, while bridges and promenades form glowing ribbons that connect the city's landmarks. Some visitors come for a leisurely dinner, others for cocktails with a view, but the real attraction is the atmosphere. There's something special about watching the city transition from evening into night, while surrounded by the skyline itself. As the hours pass, the city lights become even more vivid, the reflections on the bay deepen, and the entire Marina Bay district takes on a cinematic quality that feels almost unreal. Whether you're celebrating a special occasion or simply taking a break from exploring, a rooftop experience offers one of the best vantage points in Singapore. And from high above the waterfront, you gain a new appreciation for Marina Bay, a cityscape where architecture, light, and water come together in perfect harmony after dark.